Professional rodeo has been around for centuries. It all started back in the 1820s, although the rodeo was not the same as it is today. Back then, small crowds gathered, there was less events, and it was way more informal compared to today's pro rodeos. Pro rodeo has become one of the most watched events in the entire United States. Thousands of people come to watch these cowboys and cowgirls compete in one big arena. Some cowboys perform in more than one event. In pro rodeo, there are 8 main events: bareback riding, steer wrestling, tie-down roping, also known as calf roping, saddle bronc riding, team roping, barrel racing, steer roping, and bull riding. Professional rodeo has had some of the best entertainment for people all around the United States. However, the life of the professional rodeoing has changed immensely since the pandemic, and with the significant amount of money lost and struggle, pro rodeoing may never come back to the way it was before. Professional rodeo is not just a sport. To cowboys and cowgirls, it's a lifestyle. Cowboys and cowgirls spend their entire years traveling from rodeo to rodeo all over the country. The Economy of Rodeo, written by JHREA, mentions that nationwide there are more than 600 rodeos sanctioned by the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, known as the PRCA. Countless more are operated independently. Most of this time, they will hardly ever be home. The California Rodeo Salinas Association states that the best cowboys, those within reach of the top 15, and have an invitation to the lucrative National Finals Rodeo, will travel to as many as 125 rodeos per year, covering perhaps over 100,000 miles. When traveling, some cowboys will travel together. With up to 8 people in a vehicle possibly, this allows the cowboys to split gas money and take turns driving on long nights when they have traveling straight from one rodeo to the next rodeo. Thousands of people sit in the stands of an arena to watch these hard-working cowboys and cowgirls compete in their events. Additionally, they could win a lot of money, but then they have to spend it on their gas or entry fees for the next rodeo. With the COVID-19 pandemic, cancellations of the rodeo is increasing. The Austin, Texas Rodeo, Reno, Nevada Rodeo, and several others have been canceled. Luckily, the biggest rodeo in the nation, the NFR, was not canceled in 2020 and was moved to Texas instead. Caitlin Lilly, who writes for Fox News, interviewed George Taylor, one of the most known cowboys in the world, who said, "We are so pleased to be at this amazing stadium for the most celebrated event on the rodeo calendar. We are committed to delivering a spectacular event for our fans, and we are thrilled to be in Texas." So many cowboys were blessed that the NFR was not canceled. Cowboys and cowgirls make a living on rodeo, and with the pandemic, they have lost so much money and have little to hold on to. With more than half of the professional rodeos being canceled, some cowboys are completely having to quit and go home and try to find any job possibly that they can to make ends meet. Some professional rodeos will most likely not be able to get back on their feet once the pandemic is over. Every group that makes up the entire Pro Rodeo Association will be suffering and unable to provide the help the competitors and contractors need. Stock contractors, for example, the people who raise, sell, and buy the stock for the rodeos, are losing money because they are unable to sell anything since the pandemic is causing all these rodeos to be canceled. Rodeos associations aren't needing the stock. The pandemic has put professional rodeos in a huge hole, and there is no way of telling if it will ever be the same again. Thankfully, the association has gotten lucky with a few rodeos in the country. The Reno Rodeo is reopening and selling tickets as we speak. Journalist Jim Krasuski mentioned George Combs' enthusiastic words, "After an incredibly difficult year, we are optimistic that we will be able to bring the toughest sport on dirt back to the biggest little city and are grateful for the support from our rodeo family and community." While this year's rodeo may look a little different, we know it's still delivering the exhilarating experience that Reno Rodeo is known for. Once most of the rodeos open up again, it may take a few months or years to get them back to the way they used to be. There is no telling what this sport will be like after the pandemic. For the rodeos that are still planning on staying open, they have made limits on how many people can buy tickets to come watch due to the 6-foot distancing and mask protocol. Professional rodeo has been around longer than most other sports, and even through the pandemic, the Rodeo Association is doing all they can to keep the contestants and contractors making ends meet, at least until they are able to continue spending life on the road, going to as many rodeos as they possibly can. Professional rodeo is more than just an association and sport. It is a close-knit family. Since the COVID-19 pandemic began, this family has been struggling worldwide and have to completely change their life they have been living. While cowboys and cowgirls wait and pray for their lives to get back on the road, the rest of the Professional Rodeo Association holds their breath, waiting for the day to come where the stands are full of cheerful crowds and their livestock are being rode by some of the best cowboys in the country. My name is Sage McDaniel, and this is my informative presentation.